Howdy everybody, I'm Sam Feifel. I'm the editor of WorkBoat.com. I'm here with Bruce Bowles, our technical editor, and Ken Hockey, our senior editor. And guys, the International WorkBoat Show 2011 is now just about over. What's your big takeaway, Bruce? What's the buzz been for you?
All puppy dogs and lollipops from where I'm coming, Sam. It couldn't have been a better show. Attendance was up, traffic was enthusiastic. A lot of well-qualified buyers from what I could see. A lot of good boats around at the show. Lots of cool equipment. You know, the weather even got kind of sunny today, so it's been a great time.
That's cool. What about you, Ken? What are some themes? You know, you're out there, you're talking to all the attendees. What's the kind of repeating refrain that you heard?
I think optimism is. I mean, not overly so, but it's pretty positive for all the sectors that we talked about, with the exception maybe the economy is going to have to do a little bit better for the sightseeing boats and that kind of thing. You know, the discretionary income comes back, but everything else seems to be positive, especially the Gulf.
Yeah.
The Gulf, we've heard a lot of good stuff about, and that's very good.
I would agree with that. I think I heard a lot of talk about the patrol vessels in the military market, a lot of talk about the OSVs, but the inland waterways and the passenger vessels seemingly less buzz. Do you think there's some concern in that market, or is it just not as sexy to talk about? What do you think?
Well, I think if there's any concern, it'd be the passenger vessel market. That's more dependent on discretionary spending. I think the inland guys are going to do fine. Passenger vessels probably will ultimately as well. But with an overall economic doldrums still affecting the country, I think the passenger vessels are a little more susceptible to that kind of economic condition.
And the inland guys aren't susceptible to the cyclical nature like some of the other sectors are. They don't grow, they don't show the big numbers, but they're pretty steady. Even though if you load it, even through the worst of the economy, they were still doing pretty well for the inland market.
Sure.
One thing that I have been hearing more discussion about this year is a different kind of freight movement, the short sea shipping concept of putting containers on different smaller vessels to use them as feeders instead of running them up and down the coast on trucks. And that can be done on the rivers, that can be done on the inland waterways. So I'm hearing more talk about that. Matsuda, our keynote speaker, spoke about that. There's more interest in that concept. So I'm thinking in a few years we're going to see that ramped up. And another thing, then we covered this some in our online and in our show daily. You know, there was a packed house at our conference about wind power.
Yeah. And
there was several people who spent a lot of time examining the potential market for wind power, and they're very excited about it.
Definitely.
That could be a big deal for a lot of workboat companies because they're going to need specialized vessels to install and then to maintain these boats.
Yeah, I heard maybe 500 boats serving that in North America in the next couple of years.
And one other thing, if you don't mind, Sam, I want to mention at the Mariner Medical Conference we had just a little while ago. There's a lot of when you speak about medical exams and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
A lot of guys in the wheelhouse, older guys like me, or they're not too thrilled about that. It gets them a little upset. But it's less than 2% of the applications that the Coast Guard has gotten so far have been declined. It's 1.7%, so that's a small percent. So, take it easy. It's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
Well, here's another thing. A lot of people are worried about that towing inspection rule. I've talked to a number of operators who said, oh yeah, I just got inspected, it's no problem. And it seems like they're navigating that pretty easy. Do you think that's much ado about nothing, or do you think that's a real problem?
Oh, I don't think it's going to be a real problem. The industry has embraced this whole regulatory program that they've been cooperating with it from the beginning. It's going to be toughest for the smaller mom and pop operators, or some of them have marginal equipment. They may be nervous about it, but the big companies, those big players, their boats, they belong to AWO, the program that they're sponsoring, and they've gone through the bridging program. I don't think it's going to be any major hiccup at all.
And if you're going to push back against the Coast Guard, then you're going to create problems for yourself. But I mean, if you go along with what they said, they're not trying to hurt anybody. This is all about safety for the industry as a whole.
And the industry, ironically, most industries are saying, we're overregulated. This industry says
Regulate
regulate us,
Yeah.
please, but do it right,
Yeah.
and do it responsibly, and do it in cooperation with us. And from all I've seen, that's exactly what's been happening.
Well, great. Well, we'll see what happens with that. I think everybody's expecting a good 2012. Everybody can check out your coverage, and my coverage at workboat.com. And in the magazine, the January issue is going to have all kinds of Workboat Show coverage. So hopefully we'll see you again soon. And guys, travel safe home.
And thank you, Sam. You've done a great addition to the show to have this kind of video coverage that you've put together for workboat.com.
Well, it's been fun being here.
Thank you.
We'll see you later.
See you guys.
Bye.